Welcome back to Vinyl Latte, where the coffee is hot and the records are even hotter. I'm your host, Louie V, and today we are going to be diving into some new pickups from Vinyl Me Please. And boy, do I have a variety for you. We got some soul legends to modern pop icons. There's definitely a mix here that's going to stir your soul, get your toes tapping, so hang in there, grab your favorite cup of coffee, sit back, and let's get spinning. And we're going to start out with what is probably one of the all-time classic albums, and that is Isaac Hayes. This is the Black Moses, released in 1971. This is a double album, and honestly, this is a soul masterpiece. I mean, Hayes just has this smooth, deep, silky, lush voice, and then you back that up with the orchestration here. What you get is a delivery of heartfelt covers and original compositions. I think the standout track here, if you want to give this a stream to see if it's your style, is actually the first. I think this is the first track, at least the first track in the back, is Never Can Say Goodbye. Fantastic track that really showcases Isaac's ability to infuse emotion into every single note. Now, fun fact, Black Moses was actually a nickname to Isaac Hayes. That's what the music community called him, and Isaac Hayes was very spiritual. Younger, he was a strong Christian, and he avoided a name. He actually thought it was sacrilegious, and he did not like the nickname. But over time, it kind of grew on him because he kind of understood a deeper meaning that he was essentially a leader inside of the Black community and really set an example of what it was like to be successful. They would refer to him as very sexy back in the time and well put together, and he just really thought, the community at the time thought he was one of their leaders, and that's the whole idea behind the nickname Black Moses. Now, Isaac actually, his intention wasn't to call this album that, but the label kind of recommended it, pushed on it, and eventually was called Black Moses. So a little fun fact there. That is the VMP release. Obviously, all the records on this particular video are from Vinyl Me Please. This one was a 2LP. It was remastered and reissued. It's pressed on blue vinyl. It actually looks pretty good. It's from AAA. This is a lacquers are cut from the tapes by Ryan K. Smith at Sterling Sound. And on Discogs, it's trending pretty good. It's got about a 97 average, which is really stellar. I played that record last night in preparation for this video, and I gotta tell you, it does sound phenomenal. Is it a perfect high quality record? Man, I tell you, if it's not, it's close. It is probably one of the best pressings to find right now of Black Moses. VMP, you really killed it on this one. I really enjoyed it. I think it sounds phenomenal. If you have a different opinion, I'd love to hear about it, but I think this one is fantastic. Okay, next up, let's talk about Harry Nilsson, and this is a little touch of Schmilsson in the Night. Now, this record was originally released in 1973, and Nilsson on here, you know, he kind of takes this like step back from rock and pop to kind of explore more, I would say, classic standards. You know, when you put on this album, I think what you're presented with is, of course, his smooth vocals and this lush orchestration behind him. And what ends up happening here is you just get this nostalgic and intimate listening experience. One fun fact about this album is that it was the first to feature pop interpretations of pre-rock standards. So just kind of a cool record of history. It isn't a gatefold, but it is a single LP, reissued, pressed on 180 grams. Another AAA lacquers cut from the tapes by Ryan Smith, Sterling Sound. And the reviews on this one are pretty positive. They're about 93%. So I haven't listened to that one yet, but I'm looking forward to it just because of the positive reviews. All right, hip hop. We got Mr. Big Pun's Capital Punishment. This was originally from 1998, and this was when this came out. This was a little bit of a landmark, I would say, in hip hop history. When you drop the needle on this, you're gonna get hit with puns, just these incredible lyrical skill. If you're not familiar with him and this is the first time you're hearing this album, I think you're going to be blown away. And there's such a unique flow that's showcased on some of the tracks, like Still a Prayer, I think is one of those tracks. I'm sorry, Still Not a Prayer is one of those tracks that I'm talking about. Like, give that a stream. If you're not familiar with this album, go stream Still Not a Prayer. I think you're going to understand what I'm trying to say. It's a powerful testament to his talent and the influence in the hip-hop community. Vinyl Me Please did a really great job on this one. It is remastered stereo, yellow and red split vinyl. Lacquers are cut at Air Mastering by Cicely Bastanes, and that's who you want these days doing your hip-hop records. Overall, positive reviews on Discogs. You got a 91 average percentage there, so pretty decent pressing overall. Next up, we have Blitzen Trappers. This is hundreds of thousands, millions of billions. A little bit of a tongue twister to say here. This album was released this year, 2024, and it's kind of this captivating blend of indie rock, folk, and sort of these experimental sounds. Blitzen Trapper is known for their eclectic style, and in this album, is really no exception to that. It's packed with these intricate melodies, thoughtful lyrics, and a variety of sonic textures that just keep you hooked from start to finish. This is a limited edition. It's numbered. It's pressed on this red clear vinyl. It's got, I think there's 300 copies total. This is number 219. Overall, fair reviews on this one. It's got an 80% on Discogs, so nothing to really blow yourself away with. Hopefully it sounds pretty good when you drop it on the turntable. I haven't listened to that one yet either, unfortunately, but I'm looking forward to it. Sometimes the 80% ones still sound great, so people just nitpick on certain things. I have a couple off-air records I'm going to share with you, and then we're going to get into some rock and then get into a box set here. So bear with me. I'm going to try to go through these off-air ones a little bit on a quicker side because I know they're probably not for everyone, but I do want to use this as an opportunity to share what VMP is all about, and that's about bringing you music that you probably wouldn't have listened to otherwise. So let's start out with The Heart and Breath. This is, let me see if I get this title right here. Heart and Breath, Rhythm and Tone Fields. This is from the Off-Air series. This is Richard Reed Perry and Susie Ibarra. This was released this year, and it's an album that's really about this mesmerizing exploration of rhythm and texture. It sort of blends experimental soundscapes with intricate percussion, creating this like immersive and sort of meditative listening experience. This is part of the collaboration with VMP has with Off-Air. These is on the cream and red Galaxy vinyl, limited to 300 copies. It's hand numbered. This is a 219 out of 300, and it's got decent reviews, averaging about 90%. Next we have Oh No's Dr. No's Lost Beach, released also this year. This album is a unique blend of hip hop with instrumental beats as well, and it's kind of the idea here is to sort of transport you to this laid back sort of beach vibe, sitting there listening to these smooth relaxing tracks, kind of perfect for unwinding after a long day and just letting your mind go. Another limited edition, 300 copies, Blue Galaxy vinyl, positive reviews overall, 92%. Then we get into Jenny Owen Young's From the Forest Floor. This is also another one from this year, bringing folk-inspired, nature-infused sound. It really has a lot of earthy tones, intimate lyrics, kind of this peaceful, reflective atmosphere coming off this one. When you think about it, it's like taking a walk through like a serene forest and just sort of getting lost in wilderness. And that's really what this album is about, delivering to you. In fact, that's what all of the Off-Air albums are. If you're not familiar with this series, they're really about just albums you will put down to let your mind escape to somewhere else. And personally, I think when you do that with vinyl, which already has that sort of experience where it disconnects you from the world around you, it's just a great combination. Limited to number, another one that's 300 copies only, Green Galaxy, positive reviews, 94%. So another just cool, good pressing there. Next up, we have Opening by Rotana and the Superposition, also released this year. And this album blends the pop and electronic with a little bit of Middle Eastern influences, and that kind of creates this sound that's both modern but also deeply rooted in tradition. It's vibrant. This album is going to be refreshing. It's going to be a kind of a musical journey for you to go on. And as with the other 3 albums, limited 300 copies. I think this is on the Gray and Cyan, Gray and Cyan Galaxy vinyl. And it's got 90% trending on Discogs. Okay, so that's it for the Off-Air series. We're going to try to end on a little bit of a high note by giving you some things that you might get really excited about. And let's talk about T-Rex, their self-titled album. This is part of the rock track from VMP. Originally, this album was released in 1970, and it's a glam rock classic. It features Marlon Boland's, distinctive voice and guitar work with these timeless tracks like Jewel and also 1 Inch Rock, I think, are 2 really great tracks on this album. And to me, it's an essential. It's an essential listen, an essential album to have in your collection if you're a rock enthusiast. I think you need to have one of these in your collection. This particular one is a reissue. It's in stereo, of course. Green, Jewel of Forrest vinyl, I think is what they're calling it. 180 gram. It is from Master Tapes. It's AAA. Ryan Smith, Sterling Sound. I'm actually kind of curious on this one because I do have the 2016 remastered reissue of that album, and I thought that one sounded pretty good. This one is supposed to sound pretty good as well. It's got 92% on Discogs. Also, this next album to me is a little bit of a mystery. I kind of picked up on it. I did not at first, and then the community, the Vinyl Me Please community was like all about this album, so I just got it. And I have no idea what it is. I haven't even really listened to it yet. I did do some research, though, in preparation of this video. And what I'm referring to is Sacred Ceremony by Yogetsu Akasaka. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I'm trying. This album was released this year, and it's a spiritual journey through sound. What they've done here, or what he's done here, is really combine traditional Japanese instruments with this modern ambient music. And this album is supposed to be really for like this, you put this on and it's supposed to help put you in like this meditative state and help you kind of like transcend out of your mind into like thoughts and just get you out of yourself, right? Like that's what the idea of this is. And it's supposed to be perfect for moments of like relaxation and just kind of going back and thinking. It's just a meditation album. One of the reasons I did get it is because it says it's the first ever vinyl release of beatboxing Buddhist monks music. Beatboxing monks. That's one of the reasons why I pre-ordered. I'm like, I have to know what this album is about. And I gotta say, I'm really impressed with the artwork so far. It's a very pretty album. Even the Obi strip kind of blends perfectly in with the record, which I really appreciate because sometimes those Obi strips are just very distracting to the actual record design themselves. That's why you see a lot of my VMP ones I kind of tuck behind or inside of the gatefold, just because I think it takes away from the album art, especially when I hang them on the wall, if you will. That particular one, limited edition, is numbered, is in stereo. It's pressed at GZ, so you're thinking probably not that great, but it's actually got 97%. So it's got a positive review trend, and it was mastered by Barry Grint over at there. The last album I have for you, I haven't opened yet. So I wanted to kind of do an unboxing of this album, so that's why I haven't opened it yet, but let's just dive into it. This is Alicia Keys, The Diary of Alicia Keys. This album was originally released in 2003, and it is a modern R&B classic. I mean, this includes tracks that you've definitely heard on the radio. The ones that come to mind are You Don't Know My Name and If I Ain't Got You, I think are 2 tracks that are worth giving a spin or stream. And what you're faced with when you put this album on is just, quite frankly, exceptional songwriting and just powerful vocals. If you're into that type of music, you're doing yourself a disservice not having this album in your collection. I think if you're an RB fan, if you like Alicia Keys, you got to have this album. It is I believe it's also a Rolling Stones top 500 albums of all time. I think it's on the list. And I think if you really enjoy that type of music, this is just going to resonate with you deeply. Now, this is the limited edition number 20th anniversary edition on black and white split vinyl. The lacquers are cut at the Mastering Palace. They were pressed at the Memphis the Memphis record pressing. The lacquers were cut by Mark Santangelo. The downside to this is that the reviews aren't so great, to be honest with you. It's given 72%. People are complaining about the mastering and says the record doesn't sound well. I notice sometimes though, and I haven't listened to it yet because it's still sealed, but I notice sometimes powerful records like that, sometimes when VMP really puts a lot of like bass and stuff into records, people tend to complain that they don't sound that great. And I think sometimes you have people there with turntables that don't track as well, and they have issues, right? They have the issues of them not tracking. So I'm really hoping that's the case. Because I know it'll play fine. If that is the case, it'll play fine on my rig. But if it's not, and it's really horrible mastered, I'm going to be disappointed. I know for sure it's been at least 6 to 8 months waiting for that particular release, at least. I feel like it's been closer to a year, but I'm not sure. I'd have to look at my order history, but I know it's been a long time. And for that to come out and be a miss, I'm going to be really disappointed. I hope it's not the case. Anyway, folks, that's all for today. That's our musical journey. And if you enjoyed exploring these classic albums, or maybe discover some favorites, maybe you have some OGs of these pressings that you think sound phenomenal, or maybe you have a different remastered reissue, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know what you think is a definitive press of these albums. And while you're at it, don't forget to hit that like button and leave that comment below. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to get your thoughts and suggestions for future albums to cover, or tell me what you picked up recently from VMP. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Until next time, keep spinning those records, keep enjoying that cup of coffee, and I will see you on the next video.